To say that we're blown away by this progress as an organization would be a huge understatement. In close partnership with the science and technology teams of the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, we've built transformative software tools like IDSeq, a real-time pathogen detection dashboard that is helping identify disease outbreaks around the world.
For years, she's been the quiet force behind one of the most powerful men in tech. But now, Priscilla Chan is speaking out, and what she has to say has left everyone stunned. In a world where billionaires and their families guard their privacy fiercely, her unexpected revelation is turning heads, sparking conversations, and raising questions we never thought to ask. What could have prompted her to step into the spotlight? And why is her message resonating so deeply with millions? This is more than just a headline. It's a moment you won't want to miss. Let's dive into the story that's shaking up the narrative in ways no one saw coming. A marriage under pressure. Is Mark Zuckerberg and Priscilla Chan's marriage heading for trouble? Let's talk about the red flags that have people raising eyebrows. On the surface, their relationship might seem picture perfect. He's the billionaire founder of Facebook. She's a brilliant philanthropist. But some of Mark's recent actions have sparked a lot of speculation. For starters, imagine walking into your backyard and finding a 7-foot-tall statue of yourself. Yep, that happened. Zuckerberg had this larger-than-life tribute made for Priscilla, but her reaction? Let's just say it was less than thrilled. She posted a photo of herself standing next to it in a bathrobe, looking pretty unimpressed. Not exactly the warm response you'd hope for, and then there's the T-Pain situation. Mark hired him to record an acoustic cover of Get Low to celebrate their dating anniversary. Wait, dating anniversary, not their wedding anniversary? It's definitely an unusual move and one that's raised questions about whether Mark's going overboard to win her attention. Sure, these could just be extravagant gestures from one of the richest men in the world, but instead of coming across as romantic, they feel a little forced. It's almost as if Mark's trying to remind Priscilla of the guy she fell in love with back at Harvard, the nerdy startup dreamer, not the billionaire tech mogul. And honestly, it leaves us wondering, is there more to these over-the-top displays than meets the eye? Is Mark Zuckerberg trying to save his marriage by becoming a wife guy? According to Business Insider, couples therapist Isabel Morley explains that when a man starts showering his wife with over-the-top gifts and public compliments, it can sometimes be a last-ditch effort to keep a struggling marriage afloat. And honestly, the signs seem to fit Mark. People online are noticing too. A Reddit thread is buzzing with predictions saying, "Mark my words, Mark Zuckerberg is having a midlife crisis. There'll be a divorce within 3 years, and then he'll be dating Instagram models and partying with Jake Paul." Bold claim, right? But let's look closer, because there are even more red flags. First, let's talk about Mark's extreme makeover. Remember when he was all gray t-shirts and jeans, that classic nerdy Zuckerberg look? Well, that guy's gone. Now we've got swagged-out Zuckerberg starting at the top with a grown-out TikTok-inspired haircut that looks like Barron Trump's would if he took styling tips. And it doesn't stop there. Mark's been stepping out in high-fashion fits, showing off on social media. We've seen him in a sleek, dragonfly-detailed black suit, a cozy knit cardigan, and even a cowboy-inspired shearling jacket. As for Priscilla, she's matching him every step of the way in chic dresses. It's like they're rebranding as Silicon Valley's most stylish couple. But here's the thing, Priscilla's Instagram paints a very different picture of her vibe. Her bio? It's all about being a science nerd, pediatrician, former teacher, and mom of 3 amazing girls. So while Mark's going full fashion icon, we can't help but wonder, is Priscilla even into this new identity shift, or is she just going along for the ride? Wait, Mark Zuckerberg's transformation isn't stopping at his wardrobe. The once laid-back tech CEO is now dipping his toes into clothing design. According to the New York Times, during a taping of the Acquired podcast, Mark announced he's working on a line of shirts featuring classical sayings in big serif fonts. Think Latin or Greek phrases. If that gives you flashbacks to the Affliction shirt era of muscle-bound dudes with full-body tattoo vibes, you're not alone. It's an interesting pivot, but it's hard not to notice the red flags waving as Mark reinvents himself, gold chain and all, in front of his college sweetheart, Priscilla Chan. Besides the visual rebrand, Mark's also got his hands deep into politics. In fact, he seems to be cozying up to Donald Trump. NBC News reports that Zuckerberg is set to sit on a platform alongside other tech elites like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos during Trump's inauguration. And apparently, he's already been schmoozing at Mar-a-Lago, flying in to congratulate Trump after his victory. It seems the two are forming quite the alliance. Now here's where it gets messy. Zuckerberg hasn't always been Team Trump. In 2020, during the Black Lives Matter protests, Mark and Priscilla publicly criticized Trump through their Chan Zuckerberg initiative, calling his rhetoric divisive and incendiary. Zuckerberg even banned Trump from Facebook and Instagram following the January 6th insurrection. But fast forward to now, and it looks like political influence, or time, heals all wounds. The Associated Press reports that Zuckerberg will even co-host a reception for Trump and his circle after the inauguration. Meanwhile, Priscilla, she hasn't been nearly as vocal about any newfound friendliness toward Trump. And honestly, how could she be? Trump's not exactly the kind of third wheel anyone wants in their marriage. Just ask Kimberly Guilfoyle and Donald Trump Jr. Anyways, it goes deeper than just a makeover or new political friends. Mark Zuckerberg's recent actions are raising questions about whether his shifts are also straining his relationship with Priscilla Chan. In the past, Priscilla stood by Mark even during some of Facebook's most controversial moments. After the platform faced backlash for how it handled misinformation, despite banning groups like QAnon, Priscilla appeared on Today and shared her perspective. She said, "I see him at home and in his work, grappling with these massive questions that sometimes don't have clear answers." She even expressed pride, saying, "I know he's doing his hardest and I wish others could see that." But now, it looks like some of that prideful work has been undone. According to the New York Times, Zuckerberg has decided to end the fact-checking initiatives that Meta had implemented to combat misinformation, something that seems designed to smooth things over with Donald Trump, the same man Zuckerberg once banned from Facebook and Instagram. And it doesn't stop there. Back in 2020, Mark and Priscilla made headlines for donating $400 million to local election offices supporting the democratic process during a pivotal year. But for 2024, crickets. Zuckerberg explained his decision saying, "My goal is to be neutral and not play a role one way or another, or to even appear to be playing a role. So I don't plan on making a similar contribution this cycle." Neutral? Or just backing away from the work he and Priscilla once believed in? We're not couples therapists, but it's hard not to wonder how Priscilla feels about all this backtracking. Is she still proud of the way Mark's handling these massive shifts, or are these decisions putting strain on more than just Meta's reputation? Meanwhile, Mark's coping mechanism has taken a familiar turn, finding a new passion. For him, it means hitting the gym, but not just any gym routine. According to ESPN, Zuckerberg has taken up Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under the guidance of Dave Camaril, a coach who's worked with some of the biggest names in the UFC. And to his credit, Zuckerberg isn't just dabbling. Camarillo has called him one of the best students I've ever had, applauding his ability to juggle running a business empire with his newfound passion for combat sports. But of course, Zuck needed more validation. He leveled up his jiu-jitsu cred with a big cameo at UFC 298, walking out with fighter Alexander Volkanovski. It was clearly meant to solidify his place in the macho world of MMA, but let's just say it didn't exactly land. The New York Post reports that Zuckerberg got completely lost in the chaos of Fight Night, with Volkanovski's team more or less ignoring him as he awkwardly lingered on the sidelines. It was pure "I don't know what to do with my hands" energy straight out of a Will Ferrell meme. And how does Priscilla feel about her husband's new hobby? Well, TMZ captured a hilarious and slightly tense moment from Zuckerberg's Instagram story that gives us a clue. After setting up a full-on octagon in their backyard, Mark proudly asked Priscilla, "Did you see the octagon I put in the backyard?" Her reply, a curt, "Yes, I saw it." Mark, undeterred, followed up with, "It looks awesome." But after a long, nearly 30-minute pause, Priscilla hit him back with just one word, "Mark." You could practically hear the frustration through the screen. He tried to defend himself, saying, "We have plenty of yard space." But Priscilla wasn't buying it, firing off with, I have been working on that grass for 2 years. Honestly, it's a masterclass in passive-aggressive spousal communication, and we can't help but wonder how much longer that backyard grass or their patience is going to hold up. Of course, every marriage has its moments of disbelief. For Priscilla Chan, one of those might have been when her husband, Mark Zuckerberg, decided to pick a fight, literally, with another headline-grabbing tech billionaire. According to the New York Times, it all kicked off when Zuckerberg launched Threads, a text-based social media app to compete with Elon Musk's X. Never one to back down from stirring the pot, Musk chimed in with, "I'm up for a cage match if he is LOL." And instead of laughing it off, Zuckerberg took it seriously. He posted "Send me location" on Instagram and even texted UFC President Dana White to start planning an actual cage match. Yes, you heard that right. 2 billionaires were on the brink of fighting in an octagon for reasons that, frankly, no one asked for. It was a bizarre culmination of Zuckerberg's transformation, from tech founder and family man to a guy seemingly leaning into his midlife crisis with full force. Frankly speaking, Zuckerberg had every chance to make Musk look like an immature one. He could have shrugged it off and moved on, but instead he leaned into the drama as if landing a punch on Musk would somehow validate, well, something. What did it actually come across as? 2 insanely wealthy men flexing their egos in front of the entire world. And if things keep swirling the way they are, Zuckerberg might want to hold on to that octagon in his backyard. It could be where he ends up crashing if divorce papers hit. The irony? Musk might be less of a rival and more of a future ally. Both of them are gearing up to share the stage with Donald Trump, which might be the most awkward plot twist in this tech billionaire soap opera. But Priscilla Chan is far from just Mrs. Facebook. She's an accomplished woman who has carved out her own unique path, both within and beyond Zuckerberg's orbit. While their marriage is undeniably fascinating and complex, Chan's individual story is just as compelling. So what's the untold truth about Priscilla Chan? Let's dive in. The real Priscilla Chan. Let's rewind to where it all started, Harvard University. Zuckerberg might not have graduated, but it's where he met the love of his life. The two crossed paths in the most unexpected place, the line for the bathroom at a frat party. Yes, even billionaires have humble beginnings. At the time, Zuckerberg was a brother of Alpha Epsilon Pi, and Chan later admitted it was his nerdiness that caught her attention. She told The New Yorker that her first impression of him was just a little bit out there. Case in point, at that party, Mark was rocking a pair of beer glasses that had an explicit joke only computer science majors would appreciate. But for Chan, it wasn't a turnoff. In fact, it was the opposite. She was drawn to his intelligence and wit, and it's clear their mutual love of all things intellectual has been a cornerstone of their relationship from the start. Whether it's because Chan herself is brilliant or because opposites attract, one thing is certain. This Harvard bathroom encounter was the start of something pretty extraordinary. Priscilla Chan's journey, however, wasn't defined by privilege. It was built on resilience and hard work. Though she's now a successful pediatrician and married to one of the richest men in the world, her roots tell a different story. According to the media, Chan's parents fled their home country as refugees, arriving in a new land with little understanding of the education system but immense hope for a better future. That experience profoundly shaped Chan, instilling in her a deep respect for education and its transformative power. Growing up, Chan's family faced plenty of challenges. Her grandparents never learned English, which meant her mom had to juggle 2 jobs while also serving as their interpreter. Watching her mom work tirelessly to support their family left a lasting impression on Priscilla. It wasn't easy, but it gave her a strong foundation and an appreciation for perseverance. Combined with the encouragement of inspiring teachers who made learning exciting, these experiences led Chan to dream big and achieve even bigger. She went on to attend Harvard as the first in her family to go to college, and later she pursued medical school to become a pediatrician. But Chan's brilliance doesn't stop at academics. Sure, she's a Harvard graduate and a practicing physician, but she's also a philanthropist spearheading cutting-edge research initiatives. And she's multilingual. Fluent in 3 languages, Chan's ability to connect with people from different backgrounds is yet another proof of her incredible determination and versatility. Chan's passion for helping others goes way beyond her medical practice. Though she attended Harvard, a university known for producing CEOs, politicians, and world leaders, her life goal is simple: to help people in any way she can. That drive to give back led her and her husband, Mark Zuckerberg, to create the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative. According to their website, CZ1 tackles massive challenges from preventing and eradicating diseases to improving education for kids and reforming the criminal justice system. Priscilla Chan's commitment to giving back runs deep, long before she met Mark Zuckerberg. In an interview with Quartz, Chan shared, "Giving back has been part of my life before I even met Mark." She explained that through her schooling and career, she kept encountering the same heartbreaking issues affecting children, students, and adults. Over time, she realized there was a fundamental lack of hope. And that realization sparked something big: the idea for the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative. Chan described her thought process. What if we take that lens of a frontline practitioner, combine it with the tools of building technology, and find a niche where we can actually make a social impact? For her, helping people isn't about building a flashy resume or boosting her image. It's part of who she is at her core. But while Chan's dedication to creating change is undeniably inspiring, her relationship with Mark Zuckerberg didn't exactly start like a fairy tale romance. If you're picturing a cinematic love story, you might want to hold off on smashing that like button. According to David Kirkpatrick, author of The Facebook Effect, Chan played it cool when she first met Zuckerberg. And we mean really cool. Priscilla Chan and Mark Zuckerberg's love story isn't your typical tech genius meets dream girl narrative. In fact, according to David Kirkpatrick, author of The Facebook Effect, Chan was never a fangirl of Zuckerberg, even when the rest of the Harvard campus was buzzing about the coding whiz behind Facebook. While others followed him off campus to build his now iconic platform, Chan stayed focused on her own goals, finishing school and charting her own path. That path eventually led her to a job offer that took her far away from Silicon Valley and Zuckerberg. With 3,000 miles between them, the couple called it quits, and during their time apart, Zuckerberg reportedly dated other women, including an undergraduate from UC Berkeley. But here's where it gets interesting. When the two eventually reconnected, it wasn't without a little drama. According to the New York Times, Chan didn't just get back together with Zuckerberg on a whim. Instead, she negotiated the terms of their reunion, and those terms included the possibility of marriage. At the time, Zuckerberg wasn't exactly on board with the idea of tying the knot, but clearly Chan's persuasion skills worked because, well, here we are. Mark Zuckerberg and Priscilla Chan might be happily married now, but their road to relationship bliss wasn't exactly smooth. According to David Kirkpatrick's book, The Facebook Effect, the couple allegedly negotiated the terms of their relationship before tying the knot. And no, we're not talking about a prenuptial agreement. Kirkpatrick claims that Chan and Zuckerberg agreed to spend at least 100 minutes of quality time alone together each week and commit to one date per week. But there was a catch. These dates couldn't happen at Zuckerberg's apartment or at Facebook HQ. While these claims haven't been officially verified, the idea of hashing out relationship details almost like a contract is definitely unconventional. But if it works for them, who are we to judge? Zuckerberg and Chan proved that even relationships involving billionaires sometimes take a little structure and a lot of compromise to make things work. Despite her vast wealth, Priscilla Chan isn't one to splurge. In fact, Mark Zuckerberg's wife is surprisingly practical when it comes to money. Back in 2012, according to the New York Times, Chan was out shopping with her sister-in-law and spotted a pair of expensive shoes she liked. When her sister-in-law encouraged her to buy them, saying, "You have money now," Chan reportedly replied, "It's not my money." This practical approach extends beyond her spending habits and into her working relationship with Zuckerberg at their joint venture, the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative. In an interview with Quartz, Chan explained how they balance work and life together. "It's not a hierarchy," she said. "We have to walk the balance of our decisions." Zuckerberg shared more about how they manage that balance, admitting they used to discuss CZI during weekly dinner outings. "That felt weird over time," he said, "because we also go out on dates." Now they've learned to keep work and personal life separate, carving out specific one-on-one time to talk about CZY instead of mixing it into their relationship. And while Priscilla Chan might be one of the most powerful women in the world married to one of the most powerful men in the world, she isn't afraid to show her emotions. In an interview with Quartz, she candidly admitted, "I want to tell you up front, I'm a crier." It's her way of processing everything, from exhaustion and overwhelm to moments of pure joy. One of her colleagues even shared, when she's feeling exhausted or overwhelmed, and sometimes when she's really ecstatic, it's just one of her ways of expressing. Chan's vulnerability is a reminder that even the most accomplished figures are human at heart. But don't let that fool you. Chan knows how to stay cool under pressure. Her colleague Ryan Padres described her as so calm under pressure, really quick thinking. Even in the face of incredibly stressful or terrible situations, Padres explained, she had total capacity to deal with it. Chan's ability to remain composed under pressure complements the low-key lifestyle she and Zuckerberg cultivate, even as their wealth affords them luxuries that most can only imagine. Inside Zuckerberg and Chan's billionaire retreats. Mark Zuckerberg and Priscilla Chan might live a life of unimaginable wealth, but their main home is surprisingly modest. By billionaire standards, at least. Zuckerberg purchased the house in 2011 for what's considered a bargain in Silicon Valley, $7 million. Located just 3 miles from Meta's headquarters at the aptly named One Hacker Way in Menlo Park, the Palo Alto home has been upgraded over the years, reportedly with a custom-built AI assistant. What does it do? Your guess is as good as ours. But the real story isn't the house itself, it's what Zuckerberg did next. Shortly after marrying Priscilla Chan, he shelled out an eye-watering $43 million to buy the 4 homes surrounding his property. Why? Presumably for privacy. While exact prices and details about these purchases are hard to pin down, it's clear that buying out the neighbors wasn't cheap, even for one of the wealthiest men on the planet. Lake Tahoe is stunning year-round, so it's no surprise that Mark Zuckerberg wanted a retreat to escape the pressures of running one of the world's biggest social media empires. But for Zuckerberg, one lakeside property wasn't enough. He went for 2. In true Zuck fashion, he purchased not 1 but 2 adjacent estates at Lake Tahoe, sticking to his signature strategy of acquiring neighboring properties. Known as Brushwood and Carousel, these 2 estates reportedly cost the Zuckerberg family a combined $59 million. Considering these are lakeside properties spread across 10 acres of pristine nature, that price tag might actually be a bargain, at least for someone who can afford it. And when we say luxurious, we mean it. One of the estates even boasts a guest home that's 2,293 square feet, bigger than many people's actual houses. And finally, we arrive at what might be the most unique and expensive of Mark Zuckerberg's properties, his sprawling estate in Hawaii. Located on the island of Kauai, the Zuckerberg family is said to own at least 1,200 acres of land, making this retreat a true slice of paradise. The first piece of this massive estate, a 750-acre plot purchased for a staggering $100 million. And of course, it comes with all the perks you'd expect from Hawaii. Gorgeous white sand beaches, the soothing sound of the surf, and lush tropical landscapes filled with unique flora and fauna. Not one to stop there, Zuckerberg added another 600 acres to his holdings in 2021 for a comparatively modest $53 million. According to Zuckerberg, the reasons behind these purchases are a mix of personal retreat and conservation. With this much land and natural beauty, it seems like the perfect place to unwind or perhaps escape the spotlight. But is there more to Mark Zuckerberg's Hawaii property than meets the eye? Some reports suggest there's a lot happening behind the scenes at his sprawling estate. And it's not just about tropical retreats and conservation. Sure, it's normal for any billionaire's home to have tight security, but what's raising eyebrows is the non-stop flow of construction trucks and what's been described as hundreds of workers on site. Adding to the intrigue, many of these workers are reportedly bound by non-disclosure agreements, refusing to speak with reporters about what's happening behind the 6-foot-tall walls that shield much of the property from view. Here's where things get even more interesting. Publicly available planning documents hint that the estate, known as Ko'olau Ranch, includes a 5,000-square-foot underground shelter. And we're not talking about just a basement. Blueprints suggest it's equipped with electrical generators, a stockpile of food and water, and all the resources needed for long-term survival. When you factor in the cost of the land above this so-called doomsday bunker, estimates suggest the project could total a jaw-dropping $270 million. Even for someone worth $210 billion, that's not exactly pocket change. But if you've got the resources, why not prepare for every possible scenario? But wealth and preparation can't shield the Zuckerbergs from every challenge. Just as their ambitious projects capture attention, controversies like the 2021 lawsuit reveal cracks in the carefully curated image of Silicon Valley's power couple. Zuckerberg's in trouble. In 2021, Mark Zuckerberg and Priscilla Chan faced a surprising controversy, a lawsuit filed by two former employees of their private family office, the organization that handles their personal affairs. The claims, revealed through court documents, painted a troubling picture that shook the polished image of one of Silicon Valley's most high-profile couples. The plaintiffs? Mia King and a man who identified himself as John Doe. Both alleged harassment, discrimination, and degrading treatment at the hands of Liam Booth, a former assistant to Zuckerberg. According to their lawsuit, the workplace environment was toxic, rife with unfair labor practices and hostile treatment. Let's start with Mia King's story. King joined the family's security firm, Limitless Specialty Services, LLC, in May 2018 and worked there until early 2019. As an African-American woman and a member of the LGBTQ+ community, King claimed her background made her a target for discriminatory comments from Booth. According to the lawsuit, Booth allegedly made inappropriate remarks about her gender, race, and even her body, comments that King described as deeply degrading. When King tried to address the issue, silence. No action was taken against Booth. To make matters worse, one coworker reportedly dismissed her concerns with a chilling remark, "The men are in leadership positions here. They are in power." But Mia King wasn't the only one caught in this toxic environment. The second plaintiff, going by the pseudonym John Doe, has his own deeply troubling story. A homosexual man with epilepsy, Doe worked as an operations manager for the family office from 2017 to 2019. In the lawsuit, Doe alleges he faced repeated insults targeting his sex, gender identity, sexual orientation, and even his medical condition, and it gets worse. Doe also accuses Liam Booth, the former assistant at the center of these allegations, of sexual harassment. The lawsuit describes inappropriate physical contact, including an incident during a company dinner right in front of other employees and witnesses. But the lawsuit goes deeper. It also exposes claims of labor exploitation. Both Mia King and John Doe allege they were forced to endure grueling hours without proper pay. Doe in particular shared just how extreme the conditions were. According to him, his workload regularly exceeded the limits of his contract, over 40 hours a week and more than 8 hours a day. And at times, it was much worse. Doe claims he was often pushed to work 17-hour days, especially when preparing properties for Mark Zuckerberg and Priscilla Chan's arrival. Yet, despite the relentless demands, there was no extra pay, no acknowledgement, just exhaustion. And the tasks described in the lawsuit, they weren't just time-consuming, they were grueling. John Doe claimed they included physically strenuous labor, like carrying heavy objects and working long, relentless shifts without rest or meals. For someone living with epilepsy, the stress and physical demands could have posed a serious risk to his health. While most of the allegations focus on Liam Booth, the former assistant accused of harassment, the lawsuit didn't leave Mark Zuckerberg and Priscilla Chan off the hook. While not accused of direct harassment, the couple was called out for their responsibilities as employers. As heads of the organization, the lawsuit suggests they were complicit by failing to enforce labor laws and protect their employees from harmful treatment. It's a stark contrast to the carefully crafted public image Zuckerberg and Chan have built, a philanthropic power couple at the forefront of innovation and social good. These allegations raise a critical question. How do even the most forward-thinking leaders ensure accountability within their own ranks? When these claims surfaced, the response from Zuckerberg's team was swift. Ben LeBolt, a spokesperson for the couple, dismissed the allegations, pointing to an independent internal investigation that reportedly found no evidence to back them up. LeBolt emphasized that complaints made to their HR team are taken seriously, thoroughly investigated, and reviewed. He stated, We are confident that these statements, which seek to unfairly disparage our colleagues, will fail. According to LeBolt, the family office remains resolute in its belief that both Mia King and John Doe were treated fairly and respectfully, maintaining confidence that the claims will not hold up in court. But this lawsuit wasn't just an isolated storm cloud over Zuckerberg's empire. It came on the heels of another major controversy, one that shook Facebook to its core. Frances Haugen, a former Facebook product engineer, leaked internal documents accusing the platform of choosing profit over safety. Together, these scandals show the side of a leader grappling with challenges on all fronts, from personal operations to public-facing companies. Yet after the initial uproar, the lawsuit seemed to quietly fade from the headlines. With no further updates, it appears the matter was settled out of court, leaving the public with more questions than answers. What really happened behind closed doors? And what does it say about the systems and accountability in place within Zuckerberg's sprawling empire? For Zuckerberg, it's a lesson in the age of accountability. Even the most powerful figures must face the consequences of their actions, or inactions. And for the rest of us, it's a stark reminder that beneath the polished image of tech's bright future lies a human story filled with questions about fairness, power, and how the people building these empires are treated. Mark Zuckerberg and Priscilla Chan's story is anything but ordinary. From their modest beginnings at Harvard to becoming one of the world's most powerful couples, their lives are filled with extraordinary wealth, ambitious projects, and just a touch of controversy. Whether it's billion-dollar philanthropy, sprawling real estate empires, or allegations that challenge their public image, one thing is certain: there's always more than meets the eye with this power duo. Love them or question them, their influence is undeniable, and their story is far from over. If you've enjoyed exploring the lives of Mark and Priscilla, don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay tuned for more deep dives into the world's most fascinating figures. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.